Hello everybody, my name's Brian. I like to play Izzet Blitz, but that's not the deck you see in front of you today. So I've already made 3 Izzet Blitz videos that have seen the light of day, so I wasn't exactly looking forward to doing the same thing. And because there's really nothing new in Izzet Blitz at the moment, I was looking at other decks in the format that might interest me. And this is Boros Prowess, is very, very similar to Izzet Blitz, but it's even more glass cannon-y. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to play this deck a little bit. If you don't want to hear the explanation of the deck, if you look down, there's chapters you can go ahead and poke at, and it'll bring you right to the games. Everybody else, let's go through this. So this deck, much like Izzet Blitz, is kind of built around its creatures. In fact, let's go ahead and go over all the creatures now. So we have Clever Lumimancer starting us off. So this doesn't, it has not prowess. It needs to be specifically an instant or sorcery, but it can also be a copy of an instant or sorcery, which leads to another card that we'll come into later. It gets +2/+2 instead of +1/+1. This is incredibly helpful because it gets real big real fast. There's 4 of these. Or monastery swiftspears, you know where you love her. Just a 1/2 for 1 with haste and prowess, and of course we're slinging a million spells. This is still a prowess deck. 4 copies of Nivmagus Elemental. This, again, it doesn't have prowess. It has something different. When you exile a spell, or really a copy of a spell, it doesn't care. You put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, so rather than letting the spells fully resolve, with this one you cast and then you grab the spell before it resolves and it gets bigger. And finally, this one's new, 4 copies of Illuminator Virtuoso. And this guy has double strike. He's a 1/1 for 2, which sounds a little weak, but what happens is whenever he becomes the target of a spell I control, it connives. And what conniving is you draw a card and discard a card. If you discard a non-land card, it gets a +1/+1 counter. And because this guy has double strike, it gets real big real fast. So you'll notice, unlike Blitz, these all have slightly different abilities, and they're all kind of sort of working together to overwhelm your opponent very, very quickly. If you look at the mana curve here, it's literally 1, 2, you're out of cards. So what spells do we have to support our creatures, which are doing all sorts of very similar yet very different things? So we have 4 copies of Emerge Unscathed. This just gives a creature protection from a color until end of turn. Again, good with Illuminator Virtuoso, good for going past blockers, good for pumping our team. It also has a rebound, so it comes and gets played again for free on the beginning of our next turn. So again, you can eat it with Nivmagus, you can target Illuminator Virtuoso, you can do a whole bunch of things with it. Just a helpful card. 2 copies of Homestead Courage. This gives a creature +1/+1 counter and vigilance until end of turn, so you get to keep the counter. It also has flashback. So again, you can just let this resolve. You can eat it with Nivmagus. 4 copies of Ancestral Anger. So this gives a creature +X/+0, and that is 1 plus the number of Ancestral Angers in your graveyard. And the most important part is it gives a trample. It's also a cantrip, so it just lets you draw another card, which is nice. It can target Illuminator Virtuoso and have it connive, and before it resolves, you can grab it with Nivmagus Elemental, or you can just let it resolve and trample past stuff. It really depends on what you want to do. 4 copies of Ground Drift. Now this is an interesting storm card because essentially it looks awful, and it kind of is. All it states is target creature without flying this turn can't block. But remember, our Clever Lumimancer and Illuminator Virtuoso don't necessarily care about what the spells are, just that they're either copied or targeting it. So you can target Illuminator Virtuoso with Ground Rift, half a dozen times, and just have it connive a whole bunch, and then it swing in with double strike. If you've also targeted it with Ancestral Angle that turn, now it has Trample, or with Emerge Unscathed, now it has protection from the blocker. Again, you can see how it's synergistic, but somehow not, and we'll get into that a little bit later. We also have 4 copies of Mutagenic Growth, just 0 mana pump spell, triggers pretty much everyone, and can be eaten by Nivmagus Elemental to give it permanent +2/+2 as opposed to temporary +2/+2. 1 Show of Confidence. Again, this has not Storm, so it doesn't care about anything other than instants and sorceries you cast this turn, but it puts +1/+1 counters on things, and it gains vigilance until end of turn. Things like Clever Lumimancer love this card. Things like Nivmagus Elemental love this card, because again, it's copying stuff, and you could just keep pumping things over and over. And finally, 4 copies of Manamorphose. Really no reason not to run them. It's just making your deck less cards, and it's a redraw. It helps Lumimancer, it helps Monastery Swiftspear, and it just helps you churn through your deck. 17 lands. This might be the lowest land count I played in any modern deck. So we have 4 Arid Mesa, because we're running mountains and Sacred Foundries. Now, the 4 Arid Mesas somewhat dictate that you would run some number of planes. So far, I haven't needed to, but that might change as we play. 1 copy of Bloodstained Mire, 2 Mountains, because you always need your basics, 4 Sacred Foundries, 1 Scalding Tarn, 2 Sunbaked, 3 Sunbaked Canyon, I can do math, and finally 2 Wooded Foothills. Now, I reckon I can cut a Sacred Foundry for a Plains, but we'll play it by ear. Now, the sideboard, you might notice I haven't played nearly as much as this deck as I have in, say, Izzet Blitz. Izzet Blitz, I've literally been playing for years. I own it in paper. I still play it in paper. Whereas this Boros deck, I don't fully understand. And this is a sideboard I found online, and already I can tell you I'm not a super fan of it because Jegantha, I never cast Jegantha in this deck. In fact, you would need over a fourth of your lands to cast it. That really seems like you're asking for trouble. 2 Blossoming Calms, good versus burn, good versus things that are picking apart your hand, because this deck is so glass cannony. You really need an ideal hand. You really need it to not be attacked. 4 God Willings, if you're playing against a deck that has a million pieces of removal, again, protection as well as targeting things. 4 copies of Silence, good against control, good against Cascade decks. 4 Shattering Sprees. Now, if somebody has a Chalice on 1, that's going to dismantle us, but fun fact, Chalice only counters the spell you cast. It doesn't counter the copy. So as long as you can replicate, the copy gets put onto the stack without being cast, so it doesn't trigger Chalice. And that's the whole deck. It's incredibly simple, but it's super glass cannony because you have no way of drawing extra cards. So really your opening 7 are kind of important. It has all the pieces you need to set up and win by turn 3 or turn 4, because after that, having to draw 1 card a turn and try and reset up isn't really going to work. Now, I have played this deck a little bit before I turned on the camera just to make sure I didn't embarrass myself and remember what spells are instants, what spells are sorceries, how the different creatures work, how they interact. And I find that this deck only goes one of 2 ways. Either you come in and this deck just looks unfair. Before your opponent has a chance to do anything, the game's already over, or it kind of looks derpy. Because you really need everything to go right for it to work, hence Glass Cannon. If it had any sort of resilience, you wouldn't have to worry about it. But let's go ahead and jump into some games. I'm not going to say I'm going to leave this list the same way for all 5 games. If I'm getting destroyed, I'm going to go ahead and tune it a little bit. But let's see how she does. We could honestly sit here and lose all 5. That's how swingy this deck is. I doubt it. My luck isn't normally that bad, but hey, join me, won't you? And let's see how we do. And we got to take her pretty quick, and we won the die roll. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. And yes, I'd love to play first. I'll show you my Jegantha to confuse you, but not to cast it. All right, so we have 1 land, which isn't great because we only have 17. We have a Swifty. We have 2 Mutas, a Show of Confidence, and a Ground Rift. Now, if we find the second land, this hand is great. We really can't mull too much with this deck, only because the more cards you go down, there's no way to get them back. So, okay, please put a Sacred Foundry into play. Itko, you awake? There we go. Right? And look at me. I look like Burn. Here's my Monastery Swifty, and I attack. Our opponent probably thinks we're on something like Burn, which is fine. I mean, we're pretty similar to Burn. If they take out the creature, we're even worse. They play an Inspiring Advantage. They might be Burn. Riftbolt, okay, they are Burn. We super need to find a land. Let's see what our deck has for us. It has a Lava Dart. A Lava Dart is the opposite. So, I say we swing, and we might have to use our Mutagenic Growths to save Swiftspear. I know they represent 6 damage, so 7 damage total, but we're not really going to get, there on 7 damage when our opponent's a 19. We kind of have to make it look like we're just a normal deck, and let's see what our opponent does. If they target Swifty with the Riftbolt, jigs up, we're going to play Mutagenic Growth to save our creature. Oh, nope, they're targeting us, which is even better. All right, so best thing that could happen right now is they play Goblin Guide, we get hit for 2, and we get a land. Oh, they're hitting us again. They have 5 cards. We really need a land to set up a killer turn with Virtuoso. We find another Ground Rift. Boogity. So I'm going to swing with Swifty. Again, we still look like Burn. Our opponent doesn't know what we're doing. They're not going to find out unless we show them, and our chances of winning this game 1 are getting real low. So I might even just scoop and leave them thinking that we're also playing Burn so that they sideboard weird. Okay, they're still just hitting me. They might also just burn me out before I have a chance to show them what's up. Because I'm already at 8. There's the Goblin Guide. Okay. So they're going to swing. Please don't reveal anything particularly useful. Emerged Unscathed. Okay, so I say we scoop at this point before they see anything else, because we're not drawing a land and we're not beating them at 16 life. Against burn, we want the Blossoming Calms. Balances are also not bad. But what is bad? Probably don't need the Homestead Courages. Go of Confidence is probably too slow against burn. So Silence is nice because like if they have a Rift Bolt, we can kind of cut Rift Bolt out, and then also if we just do it on their upkeep, we can stop them from doing anything other than the spells that are already in their hand. So let's try one. This might be a very quick video. But let's try that. All right, I'll show off Jegantha again, even though there's 0% chance we play that. Another one-lander. This time we have 2 1-drops, though. I know this worked poorly the first game, but we're going to try this again. Foundry, love my Sacred Foundry. And we're just going to lead with Swifty and poke him for 1 again. Next turn, if we don't draw land, we just play Lumimancer and we swing with Swifty again. Opponent plays Lava Spike, hits us to 14. We don't find a land again. I don't know if you're supposed to mull to 2 lands, though. Only because I really feel like, oh, then again, I guess if you keep 1 land, you just lose. We certainly learned something game 1. Game 1 in all of the 5 minutes it took us to play it. Yeah, opponent goes to 18. Next turn, we do have things to do. Now, if they play Eidolon, we're a little super dead, but we'll see what they do. Please don't play Eidolon. Please just throw bolts at my face and, you know, assume I'm never going to draw the second land they have Searing Blaze. Well, we have no way of saving Lumimancer, so we take 3, and we're down a creature. Great. Sunbaked Canyon. Okay, we're coming back. So what we'll do, because the Virtuoso doesn't actually care about what spells are cast, is we'll play Manamorphose and trigger the Swifty. We'll go white, red, draw a card. We draw a Lumimancer. So let's look at the cards in our hand. So Virtuoso, I actually think Virtuoso can get out of hand better than Lumimancer. So we'll just play Virtuoso and we'll swing for 2. Now next turn, we even want to draw another land. If we do so, we can kind of go with all 3 of our spells and hopefully deal a decent amount of damage. What we would not want to see is Bolt followed by Eidolon. That would be awful. Opponent paths are Virtuoso. Okay. Yeah. Get a mountain. Eidolon would still be awful. Goblin Guide. Okay, Goblin Guide's not that bad because he's going to swing with it. It's not going to stay up and block. At this point, we have the ability to play the Lumimancer. Lumimancer? Lumimancer. I don't know. I'm assuming it just means light caster. Opponent thinking hard about whether they want to attack with Goblin Guide or not, which is interesting. You're playing burn, sir. Please attack me with Goblin Guide. That's how this works. There we go. If I draw a land, that would be the best case scenario. Manamorphose. Okay, that's not the worst. So next turn, we can Manamorphose into a couple of our spells and put down the Lumimancer and really set up to win the next turn. We're kind of taking it in faith that we don't die to just burn spells, but we'll see what we can do here. I'm also doing this to try and find a Blossoming Calm. We found a Ground Rift. Okay, so that'll super help next turn. But for the right now, let's use the white to cast Lumimancer, and let's Lava Dart them. We're not going to do more than that. We now have enough spells in our hand for next turn to use all of our mana, and whatever we draw, hopefully we draw like a Mutagenic Growth. But we're set up for next turn. We'll swing with the Monastery Swiftspear, because if they throw 3 damage at the Lumimancer, A, we have Emerge Unscathed, and B, that's fine. If they want to spend their burn spells not on our face, I will always be okay with that. Lightning Bolt targeting me, that's not good. If they just have 2 bolts, the game's just over. Another Goblin Guide, okay. So the good thing about this is, with Emerge Unscathed, Blossoming Calm, okay. Boy, I wish that was in my hand right now. With the Emerge Unscathed, we get to block and we get to eat one of those things, and it gets to recast itself anyway. So let's block. If they have Boros Charm, they have Boros Charm. Bolt my face. Yep, nothing I can do about that. And we die, but we're going to go out on our own terms, and we're going to give this pro-red anyway to send a message. And that message is, clearly I have plenty of time, because this was a very quick match. So yeah, burn did burn things. We did slow, not finding land things, and we died. But again, that's a glass cannon. Sometimes you live by the glass cannon. Sometimes you die by the glass cannon. So that's a quick loss. Let's go ahead and go into game 2 and see if we can get some number of wins in this video. All right, our opponent won the die roll. Our chat has decided it wanted to be back there, even though I keep telling it not to. Here, see a Jegantha for purely confusion reasons. Okay, you know what? We're going to try something else. We're going to mull and see if we can find the second land. And now we have 3 lands. So actually, we're going to keep, and we're going to put the mountain back. We have a Nivmagus elemental. We have ground. I mean, we have a pretty good Nivmagus start. If our opponent has any hand disruption and takes our Nivmagus elemental, we have lost. Opponent plays an island. Looks like they're just gonna pass. So that could be any number of about 24 decks in Modern, or something off the wall. People do that too. So let's play an Arid Mesa. Let's let them know what we're up to pretty much immediately. We're playing against blue, so I see no reason not to hurt ourselves, just to stop drawing lands. We went from drawing no lands to drawing too many, and here comes our elemental boy. We're going to go ahead and yield through the turn, and we're all going to cross our fingers and believe that Nivmagus can stay alive. I think another island. I smell counter spells. Manamorphose. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go get that mountain we put on the bottom of our deck, and we're going to try and cast Manamorphose, and if he goes to counter it, we're going to exile it with Nivmagus. Nope, he's okay with that one. We have multiple ancestral angers, so let's try that. Does that render a counter? Actually, no, I guess I can not give him the moment to counter, and I could just make Nivmagus bigger. We'll let Lava Dart go. No, I think I just ancestral anger again, and I just exile it. All right, and we swing for 5 on turn 2. That seems fine by me. He has a Merfolk Trickster or something. He has a Merfolk Trickster. Pretty sure he didn't expect this to happen. Whoever Flappy Cat is, I do salute you. Plains. Okay, so we're against some kind of control. Stoneforge Mystic, you say. Please don't get Batterskull. Please get Cauldron Complete. Not Batterskull. Not Batterskull. Sword of the Meek. Oh, okay. It's that deck. So this is Sacred Foundry. I mean, Lava Dart, Ground Rift. The problem is Ground Rift's a sorcery. I did get that wrong in testing. Let's play out Sacred Foundry. Sure thing. So Lava Dart our opponent, and we let it go. Nivmagus elemental, and then Lava Dart our opponent, blowing up a land, and we eat it this time. And now we Ground Rift targeting Stoneforge Mystic. We same target, and we eat all but one. And I mean, we do real close to lethal. We do very close to it. We're going to put our opponent to 1. They can gain a lot of life next turn, but we still have a 13-14 on the field. So our opponent is probably feeling real lucky they didn't fetch nothing. Let's see if they could, oh, nope. And that's game 1. And again, when it works, it looks unfair. Now let's see what we can do about game 2 and game 3. So fun fact, we don't have any graveyard hate, which seems insane to me. And we have a Jegantha. That seems even more insane to me. I feel like there should be some number of Tormod's Crypts, because they're literally 0 mana spells. But what do I know? I'm the guy who, when he started playing Magic on YouTube, called himself the 4 out of 10 Magic gamer. So I guess Shattering Sprees are good. I guess we can cut the Homestead Courages again. Let's take out the Show of Confidence. We need to take out one more thing, I read. Maybe 1 Emerge Unscathed and put in 4 Shattering Sprees, because I feel a Chalice in their midst. So let's try that. Our free Jegantha, which will continue to never even be put in our hands. This is a very creature-heavy hand. It's not super fast, but let's try it. Start out with Clever Lumimancer into Illuminator Virtuoso into hopefully winning the game. A Manamorphose. Okay, so that means turn 2 can even be pretty brutal. So we'll go Arid Mesa, go Sacred Foundry. We'll put the Lumimancer, however you say it, into play. And next turn, we'll take stock in if we want to cast the Virtuoso and kind of hold our punches back, or if we want to go for it. The good thing about Manamorphose is Virtuoso doesn't care, so we can pretty much throw that out there, give the Clever Lumimancer something to do. Is this another? Oh, it's a Talisman. Okay. It wasn't a Stoneforge Mystic, which is preferable. Okay, we're going to keep pulling lands out of our deck because we do not want any more lands. We've already seen too many. And let's go this and those. Bump our guy. Spell Pierce. Sure. We still get to hit you for 2. I think we'll hold the Mutagenic Growth for now. They're at 18. They're nowhere near worry about it, health. And next turn, we can cast both our creatures and then kind of set up for the turn after, where we're going to do a lot of finger crossing. Okay, our opponent does have Cryptic mana. I don't know if the Thopter deck has Cryptic Command. Another Sacred Foundry. Yeah, I keep punching myself in the face. I feel like they have more counters. So against my better judgment, we're going to Manamorphose again. See if we can bait something out. Here's another counter. Mana Leak this time. So, okay, Manamorphose down. I say we just attack. and then we play the Nivmagus Elemental. They could have another counter, but if their entire hand was just counters and we've successfully gotten them to 14, that seems fine. This way, the Mutagenic Growth represents 4 damage instead of 3, or 6 damage instead of 4, rather. Or what am I talking about? It's +2, +2, +2, +2. So it's 4. It's 4, but 2 of it is permanent, I guess is technically what's happening there. Our opponent's thinking real hard about this Nivmagus. I don't think it's going to hit the field. I mean, if they have a Wrath, it'll hit the field. If they don't have a Wrath, it won't. Okay. So they thought about it for a little too long, which leads me to believe that they have just regular, plain old, everybody's seen it Wrath of God. Okay, no. Fascinating. Another Virtuoso. So let's just swing and see what they do. Nothing yet. So let's Muta. That gets +2, +2. Let's just eat this because I really want the tokens. And we hit them for 5. Maybe. I mean, they have a lot of mana up. They could do plenty of things. Oh no, they let me hit them to 5. Okay, well, white, Illuminator. And I'm going to keep the other one in my hand in case we get Wrathed. I have the strangest, I don't know why I feel a Wrath. So we're not going to fully commit to the board. We are going to have 5 damage again on board. We'll crack Sunbaked Canyon at the end of their turn, and then we'll try and find some spells. Hopefully those that target the Virtuoso. All right, on redraw. Another land. That's awful. Another land. Okay, well, at least we get another bite. Round Rift. That actually does stuff. So Round Rift targeting the Virtuoso. That umps. That connives. We discard this, and then we eat this. And then we swing and we see what they do. We can always Muta the Virtuoso. So we're representing lethal, so they have to do... Oh no, we win the match. Huh. That was surprisingly quick. So 1 super quick win, 1 super quick loss going into game 3. This might be a short video. All right, we both rolled 6s, and then I rolled a 3. So surprisingly, I win. All right, look at my Jegantha. Look at my Jegantha and be confused as to what I'm doing. 2 creatures, 2 spells, 2 lands. I don't think it gets better than that. So Nivmagus is going to come out first. We really don't want any more lands. So I guess we do punch ourselves in the face with Arid Mesa. Oh, our opponent's still mulliganing. They're down to 6. Who'd have thought? Opponent taking a real long time to look at their 6. Okay, finally it's my control again. All right, go get me a Sacred Foundry. Shock ourselves and play Mr. Niv. All right, go through the turn. And next turn we slap a Virtuoso. Marsh Flats. Oh, if they have hand disruption. Uh-oh. I smell hand disruption. I smell an Inquisition. Yep. I hate how I can do that before it resolves. All right, opponent. So they know the gag now. And also their deck is full of removal, which is neat. If I were my opponent, I would take the Emerge Unscathed because that hand, and this could be anything. This could be Jund. This could be Yawgmoth. Look, the Virtuoso. That's interesting. They're worried about the Virtuoso. Oh, that's so mean. All right, so let's attack with the Nivmagus Elemental. Manamorphose. I'm not going to play Manamorphose yet. I'm just going to play out the Virtuoso that they took out of my hand, which is funny. And we're going to see what they do. And then hopefully next turn, we can do some real damage. Traverse the Overwald. So this is like a Shadow deck? Jund Shadow Traverse? Ron, is that you? Just basic swamp. They immediately slam into play. Here comes a Fatal Push. A Thoughtseize. Now you take the Mutagenic Growth, I think. Because otherwise, I get to Mutagenic Growth, connive the Manamorphose. Opponent, I don't know if you understand that none of my cards that are on the play right now care about Manamorphose. Another Mutagenic Growth. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to hope we go runner. So we're going to Mutagenic Growth the Virtuoso, and we're going to hope we draw something unimportant. A Nivmagus Elemental. I'm going to count that, and I'm going to bin that, and then we're going to grab this spell. So we're at 4, 6, 7, 8. And now we're going to do that again and hope we draw something less interesting than an Emerge Unscathed. A Homestead Courage. So we can only do that once. So let's go ahead and get rid of it for now. And we'll grab this spell. So that's 6, 11. And now we target this, and we hope to find one more non-land. And we got the game won. So just going runner with... Connive is a busted mechanic, guys. I don't know if people realize this, but when we went from 3 block sets to essentially 1 set blocks, we took some of these mechanics like Foretell and Connive that would be seen in multiple sets, and they're only seen once and then they're gone. And Connive is dummy busted. It is insane. Okay, so I guarantee our opponent is doing Death Shadow Traverse. And I guarantee that based on a mate of mine who plays a lot of Shadow. So Vote of Confidence, you're easy to come out. Homestead Courages, you're easy to come out as well. So take those out to put in one more God's Willing and the Blossoming Calms to try and protect our hand a little bit. How important is our hand is the question. I suppose we have a game to find out if we need more God Willings or if we need more, or if we need these Blossoming Calms. So let's try it together and we'll see how she goes. All right, Jegantha, I really need to take you out between rounds, but I keep forgetting. So there's our Jegantha. It does literally stone cold nothing. If some of you are seeing some of my green screen have a problem above me, it's because my light that used to be above my head has burnt out, and now I only have my stage light. So what am I looking at here? No creature, unfortunate mulligan. Oh my god, that's so rough. Okay, so for those of you playing at home, we're playing against a deck that has a ton of hand disruption, and we're going to 5, because we cannot win with this hand. Hey look, it's our original hand. Let's get rid of, let's go Anger. Let's give up on the Angers. We kind of need Virtuoso to close out the game. Monastery Swiftspear plus, you know, Ancestral Anger is not going to beat a Jund deck. Thoughtseize. Okay, well, I'm glad I kept the 2 creatures in my hand. So, probably Monastery Swiftspear. Yep, okay. So now our first turn literally does nothing unless we draw a 1-mana creature. Hey, look at that! Our opponent is probably saying some form of swear wherever they live. All right, there's the Verdant Catacombs. How much damage are you going to deal to yourself? Basic Forest, not a lot. Goify boy! Nice to see you, Goify boy. We really want a land is what we want. Real bad. Blossoming Calm is not a land. So, tell you what's gonna happen now. We're going to attack with... do we want to get Tarmogoyf out of the way, or do we just want to try and go around Tarmogoyf? Because we can God's Willing and Scry, and if we find a land, keep it. If we don't find a land, put it to the bottom. And we can keep the Muta in our hand, I suppose, for half a turn. Let's do this now, because once we give this pro-green, we can't Mutagenic Growth it anyway. Green, Manamorphose goes to the bottom. Now we don't know what's on the top of our deck, but we do know we're hitting our opponent for 2. We really do hope that next turn we draw land to play the Virtuoso, and then after that, kind of go runner with spells. But as you can see here, Glass Cannon decks do that, where when you have the perfect mix of cards in your opening hand, Inquisition of Kozilek is not what you want to see. You're able to really run on them, but if any one of the pieces, and thus far the crux has been land, and we're only running so many lands, and adding more would be wrong because we really only want to see 2 or 3 lands. You know, it's a lot. All right, opponent hits us for 4. If we're racing, I'm happy with that. Also, we've never seen red yet, so this could just be Golgari Rock. Another Tarmogoyf is not good. A Monastery Swiftspear. Okay, so the most they're really going to hit us for is like 12 if they somehow pitch a Planeswalker. So we're going to play Swifty, and that'll leave the Blossoming Calm for next turn. Because I guess at this point, anyway, for us to deal 13? I don't think so. I think we're pretty dead. Because even if we draw a Mutagenic Growth and we Blossoming Calm, you know, we're going to go pretty low. Because we're taking 8, if not more. I have another Tarmogoyf. They have Tarmotron. All right, so I think it literally does not matter what we draw. Nivmagus Elemental. No, we're done. We're done here. Okay. Oh boy. So like we literally haven't seen any color other than black and green. Really wish I had some form of graveyard hate, but I don't. The Blossoming Calm does seem a little, because yeah, let's put in, this is so hard. Because if you put in more God's Willing, you can just ignore their creatures if all they play is Tarmogoyfs, but what are the chances they do that twice? Blossoming Calm, especially on the play, allows us to keep the Blossoming Calm up if we have it in our opening hand and fizzle one of their turns and gain 4 life. I don't know if that's enough, because the God's Willing, you know, let's split the difference. Let's put in 1 Blossoming Calm, 1 God's Willing, and we'll try it like that. Okie dokie. Jegantha, I swear in between this round and the next, I'm taking you in. A whole bunch of creatures. Big old pile of creatures. This seems fine. So let's go with the Mesa. Do I want to play a Lumimancer or do I want to play a Nivmagus Elemental? I guess the Nivmagus is better because the +2/+2 will be permanent. Now let's see if this guy even lives. I want to play a Blooming Marsh and Hand Disruption. Oh, Bloodchief's Thirst. Okay, that's fine. We have plenty where that came from. A Blossoming Calm. Okay, so now we pay this. And as much as I hate to do it, we're going to move a little slow, and we're going to play out a Nivmagus. And now we have a God's Willing and a Blossoming Calm. So no matter what he targets, we're fine now. If all he does is play a Tarmogoyf, we did an oopsie. It does nothing. Okay. A ground rift. Well, I can anger this, eat it. Now I can just attack with my 3/4. If our opponent just wants to sit there and do nothing, I'm fine with that. Okay, well, we've successfully dealt our opponent 3 damage. What do they do next? Okay, this is clearly some kind of Golgari deck. Lily Una of the Veil. Okay, so we want them to target us. Yep, and sorry, you can't target us. That fizzles. We gain 2 life, which is not terribly important if we're being honest. Okay, this comes back, and I say we just eat it because 2 life is less important than dealing them 2 damage. Okay, let's do some math here. So this is a 5/6, and then we can do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, we can do a little bit more than that, actually. So if we play the Swifty, because Swifty has haste, but we don't have enough mana. Boo. So Storm count at 2, and then we Rift, get a Prowess trigger. This copies twice. Just same target, same target. We just eat this. We get to deal 13 damage. Do I kill Lily? I guess I do. I don't want to lose my my hand. They go to 6, and we have an 11/11. Now, if they kill our 11/11, which, let's be real, very high chance, because they're playing the Rock, and the Rock is full of removal. It can be Fatal Pushed. It can be Tireless Tracker. That's not going to do much. Oh, nope. They can still Fatal Push. They can still get us. They were just looking to investigate. Please don't crack it. No! No, why do you have Fatal Push? Why do you have the exact card you need right now? Don't do it. Homie, don't do it. Aw. Yep, here comes Fatal Push. Yeah, so that's unfortunate, but it was necessary for what we did last turn. Our opponent's at 5. Oh, or that'll happen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Literally lethal. Okay, cool. So this now has pro... Ooh, Brian, before it gets pro green, remember to muta it. Okay, now I can get pro green. Oh, man, almost punted that one into the sun. Luckily for me... Oh, there we go. We won the match. Luckily for me, Miko's smarter than me and makes me put things on the stack and not just in paper where you throw things down and you screw yourself. So 2 wins, 1 loss. Let's keep going. Our opponent has won the die roll, if you're wondering. Oh, it's a Urian pile. Our opponent currently has 80 cards. We have a Jegantha though, so aha. I mean, we have enough that targets the Virtuoso. It literally means we do nothing turn 1 and turn 2 though, but I'm hoping the creature lives. Now, if the creature gets March of Otherworldly Lights, or it gets Chromatic Ending, or it gets Pathed. Okay, oh, it's taxes. Okay, so we should be quick enough still. We'll find out together. Another Emerged Unscathed. Okay. No, we actually don't need to. There's nothing we could possibly want to do here, because if they play Thalia, we can't kill with Lava Dart anyway. Opponent takes up their Vial. Just don't play Thalia. Oh, here's the core. Oh, Espy Boy. Esper Sentinel's kind of... Another Sacred Foundry. Well, it's probably better to take the 2 damage. And I realize we have no protection for this, and our hand is kind of dismantled, but we are playing the all-in deck. And next turn, you know, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hopefully deal enough damage to kill our opponent. At this point, I still just... there's Thalia. Boo and Hiss. Now, a lot of our mana is going to be taken up dealing with her. So, we pretty much have to do this. We have to Lava Dart. They get to draw a card, which is fine. Actually, do they get to draw a card? Because we can still Muta. Actually, I think it's fine. Yeah, let's pay 1 life and stop them from drawing a card. Seems good to me. And then we get to ping down Esper Sentinel. We just completely dismantled their board. Ooh. Okay, that's fine. Ephemerate is fine. Although I guess if I wanted to Mutagenic Growth, I should have done it before, because now they're going to get to draw a card if I... Yeah. They're going to get to draw a card, but I kind of need to do this. Huh? Oh, I guess it counts the timing differently. Get rid of a Manamorphose, because I care about that right now. You deal them 8. All right, and we have Emerged Unscathed to essentially walk past the white. We have 2 as well, so we'll deal them quite a bit of damage next turn. If we draw a land, that would be ideal. Please don't play... Okay, that's fine. Just as long as it's not Thalia, I don't care. If they have a Flicker Wisp, that also is kind of unfortunate, because we have to do an Emerged Unscathed. Well, actually, I guess we have 2 Emerged Unscathed, and while we would like to Ground Rift, we don't have to Ground Rift. Nivmagus Elemental. Okay, so that's clearly not what's happening. Emerged Unscathed on the Virtuoso. Okay, so here's going to come the Flicker Wisp. Okay, and now, haha, for you, I have a second Emerged Unscathed. And I will discard Virtuoso. This now has pro white. That bounces off. No, you get to draw a card, but I'm hoping it doesn't matter. We get to do this again. I haven't played a land yet, I don't think. So let's get rid of Homestead Courage. That just fizzles. And now, even better than that, Ground Rift. Oh, ha ha ha. Leon and Arbiter got me. Aw, man. You know, I play that card so much, and you think I would know better, but apparently I don't. Okay, so we put him to 4, and our our Emerge Unscathed is going to rebound. So if they have more removal, they have more removal. They can blow up our land if that's what they want to do. Yep, that's what they want to do. That's fine. So now we're really just hoping they don't have a Flicker Wisp or a... Ooh, they definitely have either a Flicker Wisp or a, what's that called? Skyclave Apparition. There's no way they don't. Skyclave? Ooh, a Flicker Wisp. Flicker Wisp targeting Flicker Wisp. Oh, and then it comes back in the end step and it picks up the Virtuoso. I don't have it in my... Well, I mean, buddy, I don't know what you thought I was going to do, but that's fine. I can get that back later. I mean, I'm at 8, so I'm probably pretty dead. Nivmagus boy. I can pump Nivmagus to 6. Oh no, but if I pump it, I just die. So we're gonna let this go. So we hope they either full swing, we can ground rift, or that they do nothing. Because we need to draw something to make 2 targets of ground rift be their 2 creatures. But then we can really only attack for 3 and not 4, which is kind of awkward. Here comes 6 in the air. Nothing I can do about that. If I were them, I would have attacked with the Arbiter. But you know. Emerged Unscathed. So, I mean, I guess we have to go for it now because of how ground rift works. Archon of Amera. That kind of sucks. Although if that's all they have, that's fine, because we can't cast any more spells, but Illuminator is going to become a 2/2 with Pro White. So discard that, and now this has Pro White, and you're dead. So taxes, I appreciate you. Yep, I know who you are. And we're getting to game 2 with 1 on us. So, God's Willing seems good, because we just get to go past them. Homestead Courage seems kind of meh. Go of Confidence seems kind of meh, because they're going to gum up the board pretty good. So we need to go past them. So God's Willing is just better, which makes Anger good, Lava Dart's good, Ground Rift is good. I guess we just put in 3 God Willing. Shattering Spree, though. All right, we'll put in 2 God's Willing and a Shattering Spree. We'll try this and see how it goes. Jegantha, why are you still in my deck? All right. 1 mana against a mana denial deck, huh? No thanks. This seems better. 2 creatures, 2 lands, and we'll put... We'll put the God's Willing back, because the Manamorphose with this Clever Lumimancer turn 1 is actually pretty good. Ground Rift. Okay, so does that change my plan at all? Kinda does, because if I play Nivmagus Elemental, then next turn we can deal significantly more damage. So here comes Niv. Our opponent plays a Blast Zone, which is awful, and a Esper Sentinel. Sadness. All right. Arid Mesa, crack, playing against taxes, so who cares? Sacred Foundry. Yes, I'd love to pay 2. Let's play out Lumimancer, because, yeah, next turn that's going to be important. And for right now, let's just swing with Nivmagus Elemental and see what they do. Nothing. They do nothing. That's fine. There's no reason to Emerge Unscathed right now, because I might want to use that as defense. If I don't want to use that as defense, I can just cast it at the end of my turn, and then it'll rebound anyway. Okay, well, we're going to do this. They're going to draw a card, which is fine. But I just want to get as many spells out as possible for next turn. So white will rebound. We'll actually give Nivmagus Elemental Pro White. Now there's nothing their deck can do. Now we Manamorphose. Cool. We want a white and a red. Do another Manamorphose. Even better. Unfortunately, the one that's pumping right now can be blocked. We still want a white and a red. We found a Sacred Foundry, so play the Sacred Foundry, play another Nivmagus Elemental, play the Lumimancer, now Ground Whiff, and we'll choose him. We'll let 1 go, and the rest will be eaten. Same target, same target, same target, same target, same target, and now let's just yield to those. So we'll let 1 go, and now we'll eat the rest. Our opponent's scooping? Solituding. Okay. Targeting who? Targeting the Lumimancer. That's fine. Oh, I guess I had to do that because, well, I clearly did that wrong, because now I'm only dealing 11 instead of roughly 1 million. So next turn they could just blow up all 1-drops too, and we get dumpstered. If I had given the Lumimancer Pro White, that would have ended a lot better, but I'm not that good at this game. If you look at the clocks, our opponent has actually been playing significantly faster than us, but they seem to be doing some thinking right now, which is interesting because they have no ability to do anything. Because I have Pro White. Oh, they're putting a charge counter on it? Why? What are you gonna blow up, my dude? Everything on the field is a 1-drop. That's fascinating. Stoneforge. Getting what though? I mean, they could just chump. Oh, if they get Cauldron Complete, and then they just chump this turn, and then next turn they have a Cauldron Complete, and I can't attack. Our opponent says, oops. So they have Cauldron Complete, which means this attack is important. They have to give up on the Esper Sentinel, and we get to deal them damage. I wish I hadn't drawn a land. I mean, any spell would have been great. You have to block the Elemental, unless you have removal in your hand, because you have 3 cards we don't know about, and you're playing a ton of removal. So could be an option. Throwing it out there. All right, so they got rid of the Esper Sentinel. We kind of saw that. We put them to 7. No reason to play out the Sacred Foundry. Let them think I have some sort of protection. And then again, if we find a God's Willing or an Emerge Unscathed, we have, you know, we could do pro black. Ooh. That's bad. That makes our 11-12 into a nothing. Okay, and they can still Cauldron Complete. Please be a spell of some sort. Ancestral Anger. So, if we Ancestral Anger, you want to well, it doesn't matter because we're going to exile it. And logic dictates you block the Elemental. The Elemental is dealing 3 damage. Lumimancer is only dealing 2. Here comes Cauldra, but that's fine. We'll get them to 5, and the thing about Cauldra is it has to tap to attack where it's 30. So hopefully we just draw into protection spells. Oh, they're letting me keep the Nivmagus? And I get to get a 1/1. Fascinating. That's not what I would have thought happened. So our opponent has something that can stonewall us until we find something better. We only have 17 lands in the deck. Putting Yorion in hand, that's not good. Oh, they are going to attack with the guy. That's fine. You got a 25 instead of whatever. If they have Batterskull in hand, that's awful, but there's nothing we can actually do about that. So I'm sure they have something in their hand I'm not gonna like, because that was a really like iffy attack, but hey, we drew another land, so far they look like geniuses compared to us. Whoa! Why are there so many? It's a 17 land deck, and we're just getting, oh my god, that's awful. So show me Batterskull? I'm sensing a Batterskull in your hand. How good of a wizard am I? Oh no, they're just gonna block with Stoneforge Mystic. So the plan here is to Yorion and just have the Yorion be the blocker? I feel like there should be a Batterskull. Why'd you bother to block then? That's weird. Anyway, that happened. Yeah, our opponent does have a lot of removal, and we are somehow flooding out in our deck that has 5 mana under most decks, which is interesting. Going back to my glass cannon nature, I suppose that's something to be expected of this deck. A Ghost Quarter, sure thing. I mean, we're officially too far gone, I think. Even with them only dealing 5 damage a turn, if they play Yorion, then we're a little kaput, I reckon, but let's see what they do. Yeah, there's Yorion. Are they just gonna blink the... Yeah. So now they're gonna go get the Batterskull. And that shuts the door pretty hard. And if we draw a land, I'm going to scream, and then we're gonna go to game 3. What are you getting? Show me Batterskull. Sort of Fire Nice. Okay, sure. Yeah, we could deal 1 damage to send a message, or we could just go to game 3. At least it wasn't a land. Huh. So Shattering Spree doesn't do a ton. We kind of do need protection to get past their stuff, though. We take out your Anger, put in the other 2 Gods Willing. That's probably fine, because we really do need to just punch past them, but that's really all I have right now. So let's try that. Continuing to show off Jegantha as if it will do anything at any point in time. No lands. 1 land. If we keep this and we give up on Manamorphose and we cross our fingers really hard that we find a second land so that our turn 3 is brutal. That's kind of what we're banking on. Sacred Foundry, sure thing. Please find a second land. We have 1 turn to find a second land before things go pretty poorly. And we pretty much get a free turn as well, because their turn 1 is either going to be a Vial or it's going to be a nothing. That's fine. Come on land. 1 time. No, Emerge Unscathed. So let's do this. And then let's do this. And he done get a little bit bigger. And we just leave the Emerged Unscathed to protect the creature. Or to punch through next turn. Either way. Uh-oh. Oh, does he have an Ephemerate? Please go to the bin. Please don't have Ephemerate. Nope, he has Ephemerate. So now we Emerged Unscathed. White. I'm pretty sure an Ephemerate Solitude just gets us, though, because them gaining life per turn is pretty bad for us. And we also, like, our removal is Lava Darts, and we have 1 land, and we're stuck on 1 land. So this is how we lose a game that actually felt pretty winnable. They had that 3rd Ephemerate thing that I forgot about, so eventually it just died anyway. And then they play Stoneforge Mystic. Oh man, Solitude Ephemerate is such a good like match that I actually play that in Paper Modern. God's Willing. What did they get? They got Sword of Fire and Ice. You know what, guys? I think it's fair to call this one a loss. So we'll be 2-2. We'll do 1 more. How about we do that? Womp, womp, womp. All right, we're fighting for positive. We won the die roll, which is what you want with this deck, and now we want Oh, Jegantha, why did I never take you out? 3 lands, 2 creatures, 2 spells. Okay, so as long as we don't draw any more lands, this is ideal. We can Lumimancer into Virtuoso into hopefully a turn 3 kill. Let's hope our opponent is doing something slow. So far, they've mulled to 6, which is also in our favor. You know, during these times, I can look, when I'm looking over here, I'm actually looking stage left, which is where my computer sits, where I can see my OBS feed. And boy, do I need to cut my hair. I did my beard, and then I got lazy, if I'm being honest, and now we're here. Opponent is still thinking real hard about 6 cards, by the way, if you're wondering what's happening in the actual Magic game. Oh, all right, our turn. We do not want any more lands, so Sacred Foundry, owie, and aha, hope you're playing something slow and not Burn again. If we go up against Burn again, that's going to be pretty brutal. All right, our opponent's first turn, they play a Plains, oh no. Oh, Soul Sisters, okay. I can play with Soul Sisters. I can do things and or stuff against them. Okay, so this, and then we do this, and then we set up for a big old turn next turn, where hopefully our creatures get super big and deal a lot of damage. I hope they don't remove our creatures. I hope they don't go Plains path, because then we just lose. So Soul Sisters, if you've never run into it, is a deck that just gains 1,000,000 life and then either has like Archangel of Thune or some other like Leonin, I don't know, what was the name? Ajani's Pridemates, and just ways to get really big really fast. Ajani's Pridemate would even be kind of brutal at this point. Serra Ascendant, yep, that also gets big. Luckily, next turn, we should be dealing our opponent some amount of damage. Come on, attack into the guy with Double Strike. You don't see that it has Double Strike. Who reads a random uncommon from Capenna? Okay, well, we're gonna all find out together. You have protection. Nope. Ha ha ha, I have Double Strike. All right, Ground Rift. Okay, so we even get to go to the zoo. So yes, I'd like to pay 2, this and this, and we'll go Manamorphose. And I guess we just want to make red mana. So let's go red. Lava Dart. Okay, so I was right. Lava Dart. Is our opponent scooping? Nope. Mutagenic Growth. Owie. Kinda hope find something cool. Manamorphose, which, I think it's actually better to play the Manamorphose for the Ground Rift. We'll get rid of Sunbaked Canyon, and we'll go wait for Mikko to catch up, and we'll play Manamorphose. All right, so what do we bet here? I say we bet white-red. I get to try again. Glass Cannon, away! Red and white. Scalding Tarn. Okay, so we finally ran out. Lava Dart, our opponent, blow up one of our lands. Now, Ground Rift Virtuoso. Just a whole bunch of times. Discard. Okay, 6 times. And then Lumimancer goes to the moon. So same. All right, how do you like them apples? And we'll just place these all onto the stack. There we go. Okie dokie, that was fun. And let's always just yield to those and get those just off the stack. And let's see what we got with these. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I'll get rid of that too. Oh man, for those of you who stayed to watch Game 5, this must be entertaining. Did our opponent scoop yet? Our opponent says quite good for a deck with 18 lands, and I corrected him. It's only 17. Okay. Boy, can my guy not block. Yep, we lose our mana, which is totally fine, and we swing for hopefully lethal. They have Path. Yeah, nothing we can do about that, so that dies. Love to use it. Fortunately, thing. Attack. I think we're pretty even dunzo here, so let's do this and try and find, yep, another 2 damage. So we deal quite a bit of damage. We put them to 5. All right, if our opponent has removal, we're still dead. I mean, I thought we had that. Okay, they got blockers. They got blockers for days. We need a Emerged Unscathed is what we need. We haven't seen any yet, so that'd be cool. Muta. Okay, so we do Muta in hopes of finding an Emerged Unscathed. Sunbaked Canyon. Oh, let's just get rid of that. Oh, the game has ended. I still win. I don't see how, but sure. I'm not entirely sure why I won that. Our opponent could have blocked for like 3 more turns, but God's willing, because they're playing a mono white deck. I think that's about it. So what comes out? Show of Confidence, Homestead Courage. There's all these things that I take out every time, and what's one other card I can take out? Probably Ground Rift. Ground Rift's good. Okay, maybe we just put in 3 more, God's willing. Try it like that. So our opponent kind of early scooped, because he could have blocked for 3 more turns, but whatever works for them. This is fine. I mean, they turn 1 Soul Sister, we turn 1 Swifty, and then turn 2 Dart. Ooh, and it's a Sunbaked Canyon, too. Deafening Silence. Okay, well, that certainly makes this a lot harder. I think we're pretty screwed. Okay. So, how do we win now? Other than very slowly. Foundry, thing. Here's our one spell for the turn. Deafening Silence is unfortunate. And again, we really don't have anything to stop it. Okay, well there's that. Well, I guess we find creatures, we can still do stuff. Oh, so a one-lander, you say? Well, we don't want any more lands. We did find the Virtuoso, but I don't think that's where we're going with this. I think we're darting that off the field, and I think we're swinging for 2. Our opponent is mana screwed, which, I mean, it's unfortunate, but luckily for us, we can do stuff still, so sure. Then we Virtuo Man, anger this thing. They're punching through damage. We draw a card, so we're not losing out on much. Found another Muta. Okay, well, we have things for the following turns. Because we can give up on Ground Rift, because we'll never have more than a storm count of 1, essentially. Well, I guess we could technically have more storm count if we find creatures, but we'll play that by ear. A Path, yeah, sure. So, for those of you keeping count at home, our opponent has 22 lands and has found nothing, and we are doing infinitely better. Come on, be another Swifty. Sunbaked Canyon. Well, I guess we get to see if we find another. Actually, what am I saying? I have a Jegantha. So let's Lava Dart the Soul Warden, and that's our one spell. And then, hey, Jegantha, how you doing, buddy? That's so dumb. And next turn we get to cast Jegantha? Oh man. So we get to the very last game of the day, or what I'm assuming is the very last game of the day, unless our opponent finds a land. Because we are under a Deafening Silence. Oh no, they found a land. Okay. Can't have all the fun. Sanctifier, which is fine. That just means we have no attack next turn. Magus Elemental, sure. Here comes Jegantha, the Wellspring. So next turn they have to block Jegantha, but we can even still deal 4 damage with Swifty. But I guess I have to take it back. Jegantha was cast somehow. Okay, here's a Johnny's Pride Mate. Please don't have anything. Okay, so we are gonna do a little bit of damage. Not a lot of bit of damage, but a little bit of damage. Oops, nope, wrong one. We want white mana for our Lumimancer. Actually, if we Ground Rift now, we can win. Because we can make our guys unblockable. Oh, okay, so the Pride Mate can't block, but the Sanctifier can. Same target, cool. Yep. We go to attacks. They block Jegantha, we deal 2. Which isn't as much as I wanted, which is significantly less than I wanted to deal, but oh well. We should be able to get around this. I don't think I punted that bad, but Sanctifier and Vec I can't target. Ugh, that is unfortunate. Oh, but Pride Mate doesn't grow. That's actually important. So, what do we draw? A Nivmagus Elemental. Let's take a bite, see if we can find something else. An Emerged Unscathed. That'll do it. That can be my one non-creature spell. Jegantha coming in for the win. I don't know how else to say that, but yeah, rawr, just coming in hot. What do you got, opponent? Come on, I'm right here. This is so dumb. All right, and Jegantha does 5. They're at 4, and they die, and we win. That's hilarious. All right, I'll see you guys in the wrap up. That was insane. All right, so as you can tell by my laughter at the end there, it's a really fun deck to play. It's a really silly deck to play, but it's a really fun deck to play. And it's really silly because, I mean, come on, we played Jegantha at the end. We played a 5-drop in this deck, but in all seriousness, it's super glass cannony, and you have to be okay with winning decks as sillily as you lose. You can spike a tournament with this. You probably can't win a GP, but it's something to keep in mind. It's a deck to know how to play, and especially how to play against, because if your opponent shows up with something like this, you want to know what they're doing, because you can dismantle this deck if you know the idea. And again, for the people who stay to the very, very end of the video, please like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. But last time, the people who stayed to the very end of the video got to see my Gamma test card, which you will now see again. Looky, looky, looky. But there was something else somebody wanted to see, so I'll be right back and I'll show it off. So again, I've been playing Magic for a while, and I have a whole bunch of these binders. By the way, if anyone out there knows what BTE is, bravo. How did you find me here? But anyway, this is my binder of cool things. And somebody was questioning one of my cool things that they wished to see. And I've gone ahead and taken them out of the binder of cool things, only because it's kind of hard to see stuff in there. But people were asking what the card art was from the last video, the Death and Taxes video, if you're not watching these in order, and I doubt most of you are. But they were wondering where this was. And this is a Secret Lair Thalia Guardian of Thraben. It was about a year, maybe 2 years ago they came out with these. And fun fact, it's not just this one Thalia Guardian of Thraben art. There's 3 others. So there's another one done by the same artist. This is Jonathan Voss. So here's the second art Jonathan Voss did. So I have to keep talking so my camera, doesn't cut the scene. But normally here, here's the Thalia art. And there was also 2 cards done by, oh man, I'm going to destroy this. Mengali Villeneuve, I think. Villeneuve, like the old F1 driver. So here we have this art. We have her kind of at the Hell Vault opening. And then finally we have one of her fighting the Eldrazi Horde from one of the many Return to Innistrad sets. So I think at the end of each video, I'll go ahead and open the book of cool things here, and you can kind of see something new in there. Or if I have anything else that's particularly interesting lying around, I'll show those off at the end of the video. For those of you who stay to the end of the video, if you have any lists you want me to take a look at, please email me at HeyDummyPlayThis@gmail.com. Some of you folks have taken me up on that offer, and we've been chatting about future decks and future lists to see on the channel. And thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you all next time.